Cern Basher is back for part two, and of course, he said that it's going to be amazing. So we can hardly wait to get into the slides. But I did have a couple of things I want to talk to you before we get into the slides. One of those is everybody's on pins and needles with regard to the safety riders, and I noticed more people are picking up my idea, call them safety riders.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Brian White, your idea is so much more clever, safety hitchhikers, but there's so many more syllables. So when they come out in Austin, when they come out in San Francisco, when they come out in future cities as we roll it out, we learned a lot. What did you think?
Well, just to pick up in your safety hitchhiker theme, do you think FSD at some point, if you stand by the side of the road and hold your thumb up, it would stop for you?
I actually saw a hitchhiker on a video no, was it on a video or was it for real? Anyway, I saw a hitchhiker the other day. I was like, when was the last time I saw anybody with their thumb out?
Because Elon's talking about the car getting bored.
Yeah,
Elon's talking about the car being sentient.
yeah.
So wouldn't the car maybe want to help somebody out?
Well, and you don't have any of those normal problems if the car is empty. You're not worried about being ripped off or worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe pick up. Well, but you're supposed to charge. Then, you know, if you don't get a fee,
Well, I mean, if you pick up a hitchhiker, you're not charging that person.
right, right. Well, I guess, it just depends on which car it is. So if you're not putting your car out there for as a taxi, I
Yeah.
suppose it could. Anyway, but what did you think? What did you think about the timing? Is this surprising that they're going to go to the nth degree for safety rather than launch early?
Well, I know it's smart, right? If you're building a business that has the potential that robotaxi does, you don't want to take any shortcuts in the short term. And Elon indicated that even if regulators allowed them to pull out the safety riders, safety drivers, safety monitors, that they wouldn't right now. But he did indicate on the call, but between now and the end of the year, they'll pull them out in Austin or certain parts of Austin
Mhm.
where they feel confident.
Right.
So that I found to be very encouraging,
Mhm.
right? And in conjunction with their time frame for ramping up production of Cybercab, the discussion around boosting the capacity of their factories, that's all very encouraging in my mind.
Yeah, and then they said that they would, generally speaking, maybe have a 3-month uh, process for new cities
Yeah.
where they would put in a safety driver and then a rider and then pull them out. And somebody was asking me about that this morning on X, and my response was, I think they'll do that until it becomes obvious that it's not useful, that it's not, So is this something they would do forever? No. Once they've done 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 cities that way, my guess is they'll start just well, they might pull it back. Maybe it's a 1 month instead of 3 months, and then a 1 week, and then maybe nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, it was interesting. I mean, I think on that the period of time to validate a new city will get shorter and shorter and shorter. Right. It's taken a while in Austin. It's probably taken less in the Bay Area. Although the one thing I did pick up on, they said that they had done about 250,000 miles in Austin,
Right.
if I recall
That's
correctly.
correct. That's correct.
And it's about 1 million in the Bay Area.
Right.
Now, clearly, they've been testing in the Bay Area a lot longer before they even started in Austin.
Right.
I think it's been
Well,
a few
and/or
years.
and/or and/or they have a lot more cars.
Yeah.
And/or I'm not sure what the starting point was, because remember they were doing the what do you call it, ride share with their employees
For a long time.
for a long time. So I don't
Yeah.
know when they started counting it. Maybe they didn't count any of that and only started when they put in their application with California. I don't know how that
Yeah.
worked. Yeah.
Now, one thing I picked up on, Ashok mentioned this in passing, that as of yesterday or the day before, they had hit 6 billion FSD miles.
Yeah.
And if you recall, that was a milestone that Elon mentioned years ago about
Mm,
being an important number in
mm.
terms of the number of miles it needed to get to before regulators would approve FSD.
Yeah.
And you know what? He was right. We're pretty much right there,
Yeah. That's
right? And it
interesting.
may not be so much the number for regulators, but he was just sort of saying that we need to get to that kind of mileage before we can even have a shot at approval.
Right, right.
Now, I looked at this back and I think it was December. And at that point, I think we were halfway there.
Hmm.
And I made a prediction. I said by September 2025, we'd be there. Well, I was off by about, 23 days.
Yeah, not bad.
Right.
Not
So
bad.
imagine the next 6 billion is going to come pretty fast too.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that's pretty amazing in my opinion that Elon was right about that all those years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we might need to have another thing happen in order to get regulatory approval from the feds. We might need Elon to either be successful at removing Duffy or go and apologize to Duffy.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how I know they were friendly. I know they're friends. I know they're buds. So I don't know whether this is a little bit of friendly, ribbing, whatever the word is, or whether this is whether he's just being a jerk again.
Yeah. You don't want to get on Elon's bad side. It
No,
can't be pleasant.
no, yeah.
Um,
Well, hey, listen, he's talking about the lives of astronauts. We're talking about
yeah.
astronauts being stranded in space. I mean, there's been movies done on that.
Right.
And you don't want to have somebody running that department who doesn't know anything about it. And okay, but I guess there could have been nicer ways to say it. That's all. Yeah.
Well, in the court of public opinion, there's no reason to be nice. Yeah. It doesn't get headlines, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, all right. So you've got part two. They've been sending me texts and emails and all kinds. No, I have no idea whether they have or haven't because we recorded this immediately after. But it sounds good. Yeah.
Yep. Let's go review some more charts.
All right.
So this is auto average selling prices over time
Hmm.
versus the cost to make. Randy, what do you notice about this chart?
Both heading down.
Yeah,
Yeah, and getting
with
closer,
with a
except for
little
a couple times. Yeah.
a little blip here during pandemic
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think this is when I bought a Model Y, right here.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's fine. We've enjoyed the car.
Good.
The difference between these two lines is the profit margin,
Hmm.
right? So it's not an easy thing being a car maker. So many different things you have to deal with. But just appreciate, right? The average selling price 70,000, and now we're down to just above 40, maybe
Right,
42,
right.
and the cost to make those vehicles is around 35,000.
Hmm.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yep, that's very cool.
And this is, by the way, adding some Cybertrucks, which are a much more expensive vehicle in here that kind of naturally would boost this up a little bit.
Right,
Certainly a small percentage of the total, but still, when you add more expensive vehicles, it doesn't help these trends.
right. And of course, as
Um,
we add in standards now, it might,
yeah,
go the
goes the
other
other
way.
way. And then the profitability of selling a Tesla for Tesla, gross profit per vehicle delivered,
Hmm.
excluding reg credits, excluding leases, is about $6,150.
Hmm.
That's the gross profit when they sell a car to somebody.
Hmm. Hmm.
Up from a low of about 4,500, but down from a high of 15,000.
Yeah, which were unsustainable. Yeah.
Yep. All right, and here's kind of the changes quarter to quarter of the average selling price. So this last quarter, prices dropped by $9 per vehicle on average.
Okay.
So after increasing by about 1,800 prior quarter.
Huh.
Okay. So when I first started this clock, it was at 70,000, and now it's down to about 40.
Right, right, right.
40, well, here about 42, I guess it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then cost to make an EV on this chart starting at 54, going down per quarter a couple of times, bumps up. And then last quarter, the cost to make dropped by $277 per vehicle.
Hmm.
And then that means that then on a profitability per EV basis, the difference between those two numbers increased by $268
Hmm.
per vehicle last quarter.
Hmm.
So we've had 2 quarters now of strengthening profitability for Tesla after 2 quarters of declining profitability. So there seems
Right.
to be some give and take quarter to quarter in this.
Hmm.
But again, starting this clock here at about 15,800, and we're now down to about $6,000, 6,100 profit per vehicle delivered.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yep,
All right. Let's talk about energy. One of my favorite topics.
definitely.
Energy quarterly revenue approaching $3.5 billion. That's a nice chart,
It's a nice chart.
right? Look at the trend. You can draw some nice lines on this. Sometimes there's some peaks here and
Mhm.
and so on, but we're headed in the right direction here. Here's services and other revenue. This is also a pretty impressive chart.
Yeah.
And you should expect this because as the fleet grows,
Yes. Yes.
right, there's services and other things for all those vehicles that are sold.
Sure.
Okay. If you put the two together, you're approaching 7 billion in quarterly revenue.
Hmm.
And this would be a pretty nice business just by itself,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
These two divisions. If you didn't have to sell cars, you just had energy and you just had service and other, not a bad business.
It's like $28 billion a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would make it into the bigger companies in the country.
it would. Right. And not so long ago, this was, less than a billion.
Right.
So we've seen some pretty good growth. Energy cumulative gross margins now have surpassed $7 billion. It did $1 billion in gross margin this quarter,
Hmm.
their first ever billion-dollar quarter. Okay. So
Yep.
this is ramping up fast.
Hmm.
Gross margin percentage, 31.4, as we discussed in our previous show.
Right.
This is the highest it's ever been. And it's kind of nice because it seems to be pretty stable at this level at this point.
Yeah.
Now, they did indicate higher competition and so on. So maybe we'll see a weakening in this a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fact that they mentioned it would cause you to think that. I think, what they also mentioned was it's an unlimited TAM.
Yeah.
My biggest question, and I don't have any way, I don't have any easy way to get it answered other than to talk to the sales department, if they have a sales department, of energy, is and it was asked in the call, what is keeping, or was supposed to be asked, it could have been asked. I don't know. I can't remember whether it was asked or not asked, but it was one of the ones that was on say, is what is holding back the opening of more mega factories? Is it cells? Is it cells of the right kind? Is it there's and one of the things I've been thinking it might be is deployment issues, because from the beginning of a project to the point where you need the batteries is a long time.
Yeah.
You've got all kinds of, approvals by city councils and utilities. And then once you got the approvals, then you got to, building permits that are happening along the way. All of this takes time. And I just wonder whether that is what's really going on with the growth of the energy division. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah. And I think that, they talked about with the mega block, that the inverter is part of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe removes a bottleneck.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see how much that helps things.
And
That speeds things up a bit.
And the other thing is, I don't know how hard they're trying to sell onesies. So there's, every hospital in the country needs one
Right.
of these, maybe two of these.
Yeah.
Every factory practically in the country needs one or two of these.
That's
So
right.
there's a whole bunch of ones and twos. And I don't know that they're even approaching that market.
Yep. No, good point. Now, if you think about it, this is a brutal business. Look at the revenue per kilowatt hour deployed and how it's declined.
Yeah.
Right. From 2017, $2,500 per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Right. Down to 275 today. And it's pretty much going down pretty much every single quarter.
Yeah.
With a couple of exceptions.
Yeah.
Right. And the cost, of course, is going down too. So, they're passing along the cost savings to the customers.
Yes.
This business should be rapidly growing.
Because the customer wouldn't put up with it if
Right.
they didn't know.
Well, they have alternatives. It's competition.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yep.
it's more than that. I've sold the government. I've sold the government a lot.
Yeah.
And you can't go to the government and rip them off and then hope the buyer is going to be happy with you when you need to be able to sell them at a regular price, with regular margins. So maybe NVIDIA can get away with it. I'm not sure, but most of the time you're trying to build a long-term relationship with the buyer because they're going to be back and they're going to be back and they're going to be back, and they know what the cost of lithium is.
Yeah.
But I also have another story to tell on this. I can remember back in the day, 3 years ago, when this show was first starting out, Warren Redlick was on like every week. Now Warren is busy off in Thailand, trying to make a new family. Warren and I would do all this back of the napkin math about how all these things were going to blow up over time. And Warren came and he did one of them, and he's talking about energy. And he goes, yeah, he says, they'll do this many, megapacks, and these megapacks will create this much revenue. I go, okay, if we both listen to Tony Seba, the cost is going to come down as you produce more of these. The lithium cost is going to come down as you mine more of it. And so the cost of these units are going to come down. And that was it was actually for me, the reason I think I remember it was kind of a breakthrough moment in my mind as a manufacturer, as a product guy my whole life. This is not normal. Normally, you're looking at the product, you're going to figure the price will be stable or going up. But in the case of some of these, tech industries, the price comes down fast.
Massively so. Yeah, this is a great example of it. And I think it's expected to continue to decline over time.
Right.
The good thing about this, though, is this mega pack is, it's a bit like a Trojan horse,
Yeah.
or I guess you could say razor blade model,
Right.
in the sense that if you pair this with AutoBidder,
Mm-hmm.
that you should be happy actually to sell this at no profit
Right.
and have the AutoBidder revenues for a long period of time.
Right.
And so that's why I'm wondering sort of out loud how much AutoBidder now is contributing to the profitability of energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wish they would disclose more about that,
Right.
but maybe for competitive reasons they don't.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a couple years now since we've had much indication about how AutoBidder is doing.
Yeah. And again, it raises the question, even, once again, why aren't we building more factories? It seems like we should be. And if the price is coming down this much, it just increases the TAM.
Yeah.
I can remember, I'm going to say it's 40 years ago, I looked at the possibility of putting solar on my roof of a leased building. Obviously, it's got to have a fast return on investment if you're putting it on a leased building. And there was just no way I could justify it. It had maybe an 8-year ROI, and there's no guarantee I was going to be in the building for 8 years. So, but if you get the cost of the megapacks down and the cost of solar down, all of a sudden maybe your ROI is only 2 or 3 years. It would just dramatically increase the number of people that would consider it.
Could be a weak ROI.
Right, that's true.
5 minutes.
Right.
Just paid for it.
Right.
Tesla's services and other business, for the first time now, is profitable over its lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So another milestone met.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of Tesla's business lines now are lifetime gross profitable.
Nice.
Right. Services and other had dug a hole for itself that was about 1.75 billion.
Mm.
And it's got out of that hole
Mm-hmm.
probably faster than it went in it. And this was kind of an amazing quarter.
Yeah.
Now, is it sustainable? We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But anyway, headed in the right direction. And here is the gross margins, that business now, 10.5. First time we've seen double digits in this business.
Okay.
Well, correct that. We had double-digit losses
Yeah.
for a long time. And this looked pretty bleak. This must not have been too much fun running this business back here. But they, again, they made improvements. You could see it becoming less and less, money losing,
Well,
and then finally breaking through.
well, apparently Elon wants to sell more tires.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was announced this morning that if you buy your tires from Tesla, you get a month of FSD free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for all those people that burn through their tires, that might be a good deal.
That's right.
Now, that previous slide I posted,
Oh,
and
okay.
a certain individual reposted it last night. So he was, I think, appreciative of somebody pointing this out because
Yeah.
it wasn't discussed on the conference call.
Yeah.
And of course, when this happens, all chaos ensues on my X account.
Yes. Hundreds of thousands of likes and reposts later.
It's nuts.
Yep.
This is something interesting I track, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this before. For services and other, the quarterly revenue per vehicle,
Mm,
right? So I'm taking quarterly revenues and I'm dividing it by the total fleet of vehicles, let's say 8.5 million vehicles.
yeah.
How much does Tesla earn per vehicle that's out there
Oh,
per quarter? And it's around 400 bucks.
huh.
Now, I think this number is conservative because my denominator, the number of vehicles,
Yeah.
I'm not adjusting it for the number of crashes and vehicles
Right,
that aren't
right,
in existence anymore.
right, 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 right,
So my denominator is probably too high, which makes
right.
this number too low.
Uh-huh.
It might be closer to 500 per vehicle if I
Yeah,
had a way to adjust the denominator.
yeah. So if we're looking at 100 and let's make it a nice round number like 150. If we're looking at $150 a month, that'd be $1,800 a year, or we could, use a slightly lower number, but that's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things, my Model Y that I bought back at the peak went off warranty,
Mhm,
and I subscribed to the extended warranty benefits
mhm,
that Tesla offers. And I think that was like 60 a month or something like that,
yeah,
right? Um, so there's all kinds of ways for them. This is like, of course, supercharging and insurance and so on.
yeah,
And this also, right now, is being dragged down by the robotaxi expenses.
sure.
So it may even be quite a bit better than what I'm showing here.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And
So
and and in a business which was supposed to be different than the regular automakers, not about future earnings, but rather, making the money off the sale of the car. That's a pretty impressive number.
yeah, and for automakers, it's about making money off parts, right? That was a
Right.
big revenue thing for
And
them.
service and labor. Yeah.
Labor, yeah. In Tesla's case, it's different.
Yeah.
Supercharging certainly is a part of that,
Right.
but there's also other services,
Hmm.
um, connectivity, premium connectivity, and that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. All right, and then this is a chart that I kind of put together a little while ago, comparing the stated production capacity. Tesla, in their quarterly announcement, sort of indicate what the factory capacity is.
Hmm.
And currently that's about 2.35 million vehicles.
Okay.
Now it's actually greater than that. They put a greater than sign up in front of some of these numbers. So it's greater than 2.35 million.
Hmm.
And then measuring factory utilization based on what they've actually produced.
Right.
So utilization right now is down about 70%
Okay.
relative to that number.
But the highest number ever was about 82, 83.
Well, the highest
Well,
number ever was like
not in,
100%.
forget COVID.
Yeah.
So other than COVID, well, yeah, that was over that last little blip was over 100% also of that capacity at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can see here though, there's a big jump from where the capacity was reported just over 1 million,
Right.
call it 1.1 million or something like that,
Hmm.
to almost 2 million. So in
Right.
reality, the capacity was probably increasing throughout this whole period.
Sure.
They
Sure.
just didn't update us until suddenly they
Right.
decided to.
Yeah. And this capacity, they made a point, I think, of this in the call, is we're looking at installed capacity. So that doesn't mean the building is full. It means that in order to increase the capacity, they would have to add equipment, machinery, lines, et cetera, to get there. And the
Yeah.
3 million capacity that he's saying they could have by the end of 2027 would be a lot of cyber cabs that can be made on a small footprint.
Yeah.
But the equipment apparently is not in there yet for him to be able to say, I guess they'll start counting it when they actually turn the line on.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about some of that. So hold that thought.
Okay, I will.
All right. But now it's quiz time, Randy, to see if you've been paying attention. How many supercharger plugs, stalls, however you want to call it, are there in the world now?
400,000.
No, 73,817.
Oh, wrong power at 10 somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to keep track there for a while and I've just lost it. Yeah, yeah.
And how many did they add in this latest quarter?
10,000? Oh, quarter. No, 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 no.
Oh, sorry, I gave you the answer too quickly.
Yeah,
3,589 were added.
yeah. I was thinking 10,000 a year. So
Yeah, which is, I think, eyeballing this is
yeah.
the third highest quarterly increase.
Hmm.
We had one here at 3840.
Hmm.
Here's 3536. Here's 3787, and then 3589. That's the third highest, as far as
Right.
I can tell, for a quarterly increase.
It looks to me like my 10,000 would have been pretty dang close for the year,
For the year.
the trailing year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, good recovery, making up the question for your answer. It's an impressive skill to do that on the fly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Here's another question for you then. Given that you know these numbers, how many vehicles were delivered last quarter relative to the number of total Supercharger plugs? How about an esoteric metric, right?
That's an esoteric metric, yes.
I find it kind of interesting.
Okay.
It's approaching 120.
Oh, okay. So this would be so that we can know. Yeah, we've dealt. You and I have even talked about this maybe a
Yes.
year ago. It's a good thing to know how many chargers they need to put out there in order to equip the fleet with enough so that you're not sitting in line all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So we should expect this curve to flatten out over time, and we are starting to see maybe some signs of that. Okay. So again, about 120 vehicles per supercharger stall.
Right.
If they all went there at the same time, there'd be a problem, but
Right.
they
Right.
don't, because a lot of people charge at home. We don't need the
Right.
supercharger stall, right? Unless I'm traveling, I don't use a supercharger.
Right.
Right. All right. What was it last quarter? If we just look at the deliveries for the quarter versus the new stalls put in place in the quarter.
Well, it seemed to me that they put in a lot of stalls and the sales were up, but not dramatically.
Okay. So you'd expect a number higher or lower than this?
Slightly lower. Yeah.
Well, you're wrong. It's slightly higher.
Slightly higher. Okay.
Yeah. Call it 140-ish
Okay.
vehicles delivered
Okay.
per stall,
Okay.
per new stall.
Okay.
So again, that tells us that this curve will start flattening out, right?
Yeah.
If the number is higher, then yeah.
Well, these guys are driven by metrics. They're driven by data. So I'm sure that they have a very, very good idea of what it takes. And you look at some of these installations where they have 180 stalls in one location out along Highway 5 here in California. And
Yeah.
you're like, how could they even ever think that's going to be full? But apparently they've got the count. They've got they know, they know a lot about this data.
I'm sorry, I just stated that incorrectly. If this number is higher than that long-term average, then we should expect the long-term average to come up
Well, of
towards
course. Yes.
those numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
My
would be
apologies.
true.
So if
That would
this is 140 and it stays here, then we should expect this to approach 140 over time.
Right. But I
But it'll
think,
take a long time because we're looking at 8.5 million vehicles here,
right.
and here we're looking at less than 500,000 vehicles in this number.
Right. And now we have these other cars coming in, although I haven't hardly seen any in the when I've been to the locations recently. What was that? 3 months ago, we went to quite a few. I didn't see really other brands.
Yeah.
But there are some additional brands charging, and so there's going to be a change maybe in the ratio required for that.
Potentially. Yeah. Yeah. We're hearing stories about people seeing more and more, and I'm seeing it too in my travels. There's more and more non-Teslas at the superchargers. Yeah. Okay. This one is for all the money, Randy. This is your final question. What's the average of number of supercharger plugs per station?
Plugs per station.
Globally for Tesla.
I'm going to say 14.
No.
No.
9.5.
I wasn't that far off.
I don't know how you use the half a plug, but that's the number.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was increasing and now holding steady this quarter.
And don't we have now I wonder what counts in this. So, I remember a couple of years ago, the stock popped because we sold a chain of outdoor recreation parks, a contract for these going forward, you know.
Yeah.
And so are those stations, or are those independent locations? Do they count in anything? Where do they count?
Well, they probably count in services and other revenue to the
Right,
extent they sell it.
right.
But I doubt that. I mean, if it's considered to be part of the Tesla Supercharger network, then I
Yeah.
suppose it would count in these numbers.
Okay, because we also have individual
Yeah.
grocery stores, restaurants, that have one or two.
Yeah. Now, this is supercharges, not destination chargers. So there's a difference
Okay,
there,
all right, there you go.
right? A lot of hotels have
Right,
destination
destination
chargers.
chargers. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
the numbers may get muddied over time.
yeah.
All right. Let's talk about one of our favorite things, regulatory credits.
Hmm.
We all thought that this would just fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I don't think that going from 439 down to 417 million is falling off a cliff.
No.
Maybe that's to come.
Yes.
Um, it's interesting that we're approaching about 12 billion here in reg credits
Yeah. Yeah.
since 2018.
Yeah.
It's pretty-
I was a very large miss on this one.
what were you expecting?
I was thinking it might come down 300 million.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And you can see it's been coming down.
Yeah.
But 400 million a quarter, 300 million a quarter is still decent, still helpful.
Yep. Yep. Well, there's a lot of places besides the United States that have these reg credits.
Yeah.
And they made that point at the last earnings call, is that it's not just the US or just California. So yeah.
Now they did state in their 10Q this morning that the reg credit, it's not deferred revenue, I think it's unsatisfied performance
Okay.
obligation,
Mhm.
has come down by 1.4 billion because of the regulatory changes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it has come down. It's gone from like 5 billion down to like 3.6
Okay.
in terms of what's on the books
Gotcha.
for the future.
Okay.
Okay. That's quarterly. This is annualized the last 12 months, about 2.1 billion in reg credits.
Hmm.
We were on a beautiful trend, and then somebody took away the punch bowl. Yeah. And then one way I like to look at it is of Tesla's Capex spend, if you said, okay, we're going to take other people's money, our competitors' money, and use that to fund our Capex, well, they
Right.
funded about a quarter of Tesla's Capex
Wow.
since
Wow.
2018,
Yeah.
11.7 billion.
Amazing.
That's just one way to look at it. It's kind of some mental accounting, but
So kind of them.
and then graphing it this way, Capex, Tesla funded versus competitor funded.
Mhm.
It's kind of been the icing on the cake as far as Capex goes.
Mhm.
A good healthy layer of icing, Randy.
Very nice, healthy layer of
Yeah.
blue icing.
And then here's the past credits, the 11.7 billion, and then they report on the 10Q kind of what they expect for the future.
Okay.
And that number is still 3.3 billion.
For the future total.
Future reg credits that are on the books that they have visibility to, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it used to be close to 5 billion.
Yeah.
And with the changes, it's come down to 3.3. So it's still a decent chunk.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Another fun thing about Tesla is the energy business and the complications around revenue recognition here.
Sure.
And I don't know that any of us really understand this. I track reported revenue in green.
Hmm.
So for the last 12 months, that's approaching 12 billion for energy.
Okay.
That's over here on the right.
Right.
Versus what I call indicative revenue.
Hmm.
Indicative revenue is the combination of reported revenue plus the change in deferred revenue
Hmm.
and the change in unsatisfied performance obligations.
Right.
Right. So for a long time, that number was growing relative to reported revenue. And a couple of quarters ago, we had a massive difference of,
Yeah.
6.5 billion here.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to shrink. The difference between the two is starting to shrink.
Yeah.
Now, why is the question?
It's
And I don't have an answer for you.
right.
If we look at it on a quarterly basis, you can see that reported revenue actually this quarter was higher than my indicative revenue measure
Yeah.
because we actually had a drop in deferred revenue and unsatisfied performance obligations. Now you can see there's some lumpiness to this. Like
Oh,
sometimes,
yeah.
this quarter it was twice as high as reported revenue.
Right. Right.
So it just may be the timing of things. Maybe next quarter this changes again and it's back to its old ways. Who knows? But it continues to confound all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the energy business is extremely strong and the future's bright.
Right.
But reading these tea leaves, I don't know what to say about this. Okay.
Yes.
Here it is. Deferred revenue is a smaller piece, and the unsatisfied performance obligations is the largest piece of this.
Hmm.
And you can see deferred revenue actually, sorry, increased. I said it decreased. It increased a bit quarter over quarter. And the unsatisfied performance obligations, UPO, has come down.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, that probably means they satisfied a bunch of the unsatisfied performance obligations.
Right.
And then I guess didn't add more new ones. So what
Yeah.
does that say about future revenues? I don't know.
Yeah.
Here you can actually see it. Deferred revenues up,
Yep.
UPO down.
Yep.
And we've seen before, deferred revenues down, UPO was up. So again, quarter to quarter, there could be some noise in this. I wouldn't read too much into it,
Hmm.
but we're tracking it. We're keeping our eye on it. And maybe one day we'll understand what this all means.
I know that Matt Smith and Bradford Ferguson have really tried to, you know, get into this as deeply as they possibly can. And Matt Smith was the closest on the overall uh, uh, earnings per share. But I don't know that it was because he's doing this better than anybody else. But I would trust his number as somebody
Well,
who's really done the work.
there was a year or 18 months ago that Matt Smith and Bradford and Larry kind of got together and
Yeah,
worked this through.
yeah, yeah.
And they had some pretty crazy projections for Tesla profitability.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't think those have panned out,
No, no, all of
right?
us, all of us had those, and
Well,
we had another interloper at that point too. Somebody in the X community who
yeah.
stayed for a while and then left. I forget his handle now. And he was thinking it was going to be 50% margins or whatever. So
Yeah, I was trying to be the voice of reason back
oh,
then.
you were.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go back and check that out.
Um, you know, some people may accuse me of not being a voice of reason when it comes to Optimus, and that's fine. I'll take that criticism, but long term, I think I'm right. On the energy side, I think long term, this is a great business. I just didn't have the same expectations
Right,
of that
right.
some had in terms of its near-term profitability.
Yeah, I bought into that hype. So CERN. You say you're the voice of reason on Optimus. I have been, and I don't know how many meetings like this with you on Optimus, and it seems to me you're as optimistic about Optimus as I am.
Well, sorry if I misspoke. I've not been the voice of reason on Optimus. You could accuse me of not being a voice of reason.
Right.
Yeah, and I said I'd take that criticism, Randy. I hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think long term, I think I'm right. Short term, who knows?
I just keep can't, the hard part for me is on Optimus. I'm still having this trouble figuring out, why Elon would sell these for less than our current number, I think, which is $110,000 a month. I'm sorry, a year. Isn't that your kind of roughly your current number is what
Yeah,
they,
and something like depending on the capability,
yeah,
90 to 110, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. My old number was 60,000, but then they added the fourth shift and we did some numbers a little differently and we had some inflation. And so now we're around $100,000 a month, I mean, a year as a lease. And yet, you've got Figure coming out and saying they're going to sell them for 25,000 each. And I'm like, why would you do that?
No, I don't think Figure will.
Okay.
I don't think they will. Yeah. Um, Finally, just on the energy, just to close this out,
Okay. Okay.
the unsatisfied performance obligations have both short term and long term.
Mhm.
So the short term tells you how much they plan to recognize over the next 12 months.
Okay.
And that number now is, over 5 billion,
Mm.
down slightly from the previous quarter, but still pretty high.
Mhm.
And then the longer term bucket now has shrank a bit, but it's still pretty good. The total bucket here is close to $10 billion.
Okay.
So this is all future revenue that's going to come to the energy business at some point.
And that was another place where all of us have been wondering how much cost of goods is involved in these. We don't know whether it's like, a 90% margin or whether it's a normal margin around
Yeah.
30%. We just don't know.
And I think that was the critical error. I think that, Matt Smith and Bradford and Larry were making was assuming that the costs were front loaded.
Right.
That accounting rules kind of dictate that you match
Hmm.
the revenues and expenses.
Right.
So that's where I was being the voice of reason. It's like I'm not so sure that's you're going to get 100% margin on this
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I remember all those discussions.
yeah. Now I do think that the opportunity with energy is in the AI side, right? Again, sell the boxes, just get them
Yeah.
out there, make
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit of
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Make your money on the AI part.
Right.
And I think that actually may be the sleeper sort of AI opportunity that all of us are kind of ignoring, but for good reason because they don't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When has Elon talked about AutoBidder on a conference call?
He is not, and so we don't really know. And I think the only thing I've heard that was definitive is that it is contract by contract. So the Australian folks down there in the earliest installations apparently were making the money off of the auto bidder.
Yeah.
But then in other cases, we know that's not the case. We know that that's not part of the deal that Tesla is getting the ongoing revenue or ongoing profit, or at least part of it. And it
Right.
might sometimes it might be half of it, or 10% of it, or whatever. So yeah, we just don't know.
And it all depends on the utility too, whether you can actually push power back to the grid and
Yeah,
arbitrage prices.
exactly.
I would imagine that would make a huge difference than just
Huge.
using AutoBidder to optimize the charging and discharge for a
Right.
customer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about spending money.
Okay.
Tesla's invested a lot of money in CapEx, property, plant, and equipment,
Hmm.
and they break down different categories. So
Mhm.
we've got machinery, equipment, and vehicles. Now they've spent 20 billion in total.
Right.
They've spent 11.5 billion on land and buildings. AI infrastructure, 6.6 billion. Tooling, 4.7 billion. Leasehold improvements, 4.2 billion. Computer equipment, hardware, and software, 3.1 billion.
Mm.
And construction in progress, 8 billion.
Hmm.
Okay, so eventually when a factory is finished, it goes out of this category and flows into the appropriate categories here. Right?
Yep. Hmm.
Um, and then here's the quarterly changes. And then this is a little screenshot from the quarterly report that shows the different categories and the numbers. But they've invested a total of 58 billion so far in property, plant, and equipment. Depreciation's taken 19 of that, so they've got a net about 39.4.
Hmm.
But in this quarter, they spent a good chunk on machinery, equipment, and vehicles, 670 billion. Sorry, million, 670 million.
Yeah. Right.
And the AI infrastructure, about 450 million. And then the third biggest category is construction in progress, about 300 million.
Mhm.
And here you can see the construction in progress can be negative because you finish the building, it flows out of that category and goes into other categories.
Yeah.
In this case, it must have been the AI infrastructure. This is probably Cortex.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see another bump in this once Cortex 2 is finished.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. Again, this company is investing for the future.
Hmm.
You can worry about short-term earnings if you want to, but you want to follow the breadcrumbs of where they're investing their money and
The
what
machine
they're
that makes
building for the future.
the machine that makes the machine.
Machine that makes the machine.
Hmm.
All right, we're down to our last two slides.
Okay.
Accrued warranty reserve.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have a lot of thoughts on this. I actually want to work on this a little bit more. And I've heard Larry talk about this in the past. So
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
you can talk to him about this. He might have some more current thoughts. But in the quarter, this last quarter, they reserved about 727 million in warranty reserves,
Mm.
right? The expectation is you sell a car, you might have some problems in the future. You better reserve some of that money.
Right.
Okay. Now, companies can monkey with this, right? If you want to juice your earnings in the short term, you can reduce your warranty reserve and
Right.
show more profit,
Right.
right? Or if you want to be conservative, you could increase your warranty reserve and reduce your profits. So there's
Mhm.
things that companies can do to manage their earnings if they want to.
Right.
Okay. Now, the better metric here, rather than looking at the totals, is what is the warranty reserve per vehicle sold?
Yep.
And here's that. So, it came down a little bit this quarter. And it might have to do with the mix of vehicles sold. More
Sure.
Model Ys might have less issues than Cybertrucks, for example, or
Hmm.
whatever it is.
Hmm.
But it's about $1,450, $1,500 per vehicle sold
Hmm.
goes into the warranty reserve.
Right.
Okay.
And of course,
But
what Larry was talking about was, are they utilizing, are they using up that reserve in future months, quarters, et cetera?
yeah,
And because otherwise, then if they aren't, if they're say it's only $600 per car over the warranty period, then you could reduce this reserve, and that might not only give you a bump in terms of stuff that's been set aside, but also give you a bump in terms of profit per vehicle going forward.
that's right. And this quarter, warranty costs incurred were $464 million.
Okay.
Okay, and go back to this chart. They reserved 727. This is for
Yeah.
vehicles sold this quarter
Yeah.
for future.
Yeah.
The 464 that they incurred was for vehicles sold in prior quarters,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And they have a balance now on this warranty reserve of over $8 billion.
Wow.
So as shareholders, as we think about Tesla having 41 billion in cash, well, 8 billion of that's spoken for in a warranty reserve, right? Like they need to make sure they've got that money in
Okay.
case that needs to be used.
Well, wouldn't it be 8 billion minus the 12 months expected use for accounting
Well,
purposes? I think.
I'm just saying that the
Yeah.
warranty reserve at the end of the period was
Yeah.
over 8 billion,
Right.
right? And if cash is 41, then 8 billion of that 41 is spoken for potentially for future
Yeah.
warranty costs incurred, future
Okay.
costs incurred,
Okay. Yeah,
right?
I hadn't thought about that.
And there's other uses that the cash needs to be is probably spoken for in other areas too, other commitments, leases and things like that that you got to make sure you've got the money for.
Gotcha.
Now, some of that's covered obviously by, quarterly, the revenue and so on that you
Sure, sure, sure.
generate, but
Sure, sure.
it's not like Tesla just has $41 billion of cash that they can do whatever they want with it and buy
Right.
back stock and that kind of stuff.
Right.
They do have some sort of commitments they need to make sure that money's there for.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right. And with that, that brings us to the end of my prepared remarks.
The end of your prepared remarks, and there isn't a CERN 3. So,
CERN 3. Well, there could be. I have plenty more charts, Randy.
people are clamoring for that third financial story that you wanted to put together about, should I do a 401 through 402? Anyway, all those different pensions. Should I take it out of one and put it in the other? At the end of when I'm retiring, should I take it all out and put it into something else? Should I take one of those 8% per year, but it's all gone at the end? Uh, uh, you know, so you're supposed to be good at that kind of stuff, right?
Well, the IRS missed an opportunity. They should have called it 420 plan.
That's right. What were they thinking?
Why are we doing 401k and 403b and 457 plans and
All before 20. Yeah,
just go to 420?
that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. So someday you've got to do that one. That's one everybody's clamoring for. So we'll see.
That one's going to take a little time to put together, but yeah, we'll get there at some point, Randy, when things settle down, if they ever do with Tesla.
Yeah, and then last week I had um, Nicholas. We spent about 15 minutes on one show talking about kind of his investment strategy.
Hmm.
When he sells puts or buys puts, or how he's doing kind of this strategic part of what he does. And so it would seem like maybe you would have a strategy. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's no strategy. Maybe it'd be a dartboard.
No, and there's no dartboard involved, and there are lots of different strategies depending on the needs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
some of that would make great content, and and if people understood that you're good at it, who knows? They might want to use your services. I'm just thinking.
That's the businessman in you, Randy.
I know.
Yeah,
Somebody said the gravestone is going to say always selling.
always be selling
Yes.
ABC.
Yep, that's right. That's
In
right.
my case, it's always be charting.
Charting, that's right. ABC. You said ABC before on mine, which would be S. Are you confused or
Oh yeah.
Maybe
I am.
you're thinking about the business. Always be selling with a C, CELLING.
Yeah.
Selling. Yeah.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah. I guess I'm confused. My name Cern sounds like an S.
It's true.
So
It's
I
true.
think a C is, an S sound.
Yes.
But isn't there an acronym for always be selling? There's ABC. What is the
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
I know there was an acronym for me for many, many years.
Oh,
That was
always be closing.
that was just BS. I don't
Well,
know what that
yes.
meant.
Always be
What are they
closing,
talking
Randy.
about, CERN?
Always
Always
be
be
closing.
closing. Yes. Yeah, I'm not the greatest closer. Believe it or not, I am not the best closer you're ever going to meet by a long shot. I can close and I'm okay at it, but no, selling, I do. Closing, well,
You need a closer, Randy. You need somebody to close the business.
yeah, yeah. I know, I know. I probably would have been so much richer if I'd been a better closer. What are you going to do?
That's okay. Maybe you wouldn't be here now doing this and having so much fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, CERN Basher, as always, it's a thrill a minute to watch the colorful charts and stuff go by, and hopefully some of it, has an impact.
Thank you.
It's been great talking to you.
Thanks, Randy.